guys had an opportunity to play in expanded roles today, and so we'll take a look at that tape, and they'll provide a lot of information for us as we push into the playoffs, man. We don't care where the plays come from. Every man in the helmet or every man on our team is a viable component in terms of helping us win. So we gained some information about some guys today, and maybe to help us in our planning as we push forward to next week.
And that was Coach Tomlin following the Steelers' loss in Week 17 to the Browns in Cleveland on Sunday. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Extra Point presented by Microsoft Surface. I am Missi Matthews, and we, of course, are going to be talking about the playoffs and the Steelers' wild card matchup with the Browns Sunday night here at Heinz Field. Let's introduce you to my panel so we can do so. Bob Labriola of Steelers.com and Steelers Digest. Still feeling festive. I got rid of the poinsettias today on my set, Labs. Also, Craig Wolfley from Steelers Nation Radio, SNR, and also DVE, the game broadcast, and former Steelers outside linebacker Arthur Moats, Hall of Famer from JMU, is on hand. And guys, we got to start with the playoff bracket because we are in the postseason officially here for the National Football League, and taking a look just of the AFC and what matters to the Steelers right now. Of course, we know the Steelers finished as the 3 seed, so they will be hosting the Browns Sunday night, 8:15 on NBC. They are the 6th seed. And then the Chiefs, the 1 seed, they will play the winner of the lowest seed coming out of the wild card weekend in the divisional round. So Bills and Colts, Steelers and Browns, and then Titans and Ravens. So, Labs, I will start with you. This will mark on Sunday the 15th time that teams that played in the final week of the regular season and the first round of the playoffs together. It is an AFC North opponent, and this is time number 3. So what do you make of this matchup for the Steelers in terms of their playoff hopes?
This is what I wanted to see. I wanted to see the Browns get in, and I wanted them to come to Heinz Field in the first round, because for the Browns to be in the playoffs, they had to beat the Steelers in Cleveland in the regular season finale, which is what happened. And I also thought that, going through that experience, the Steelers players and coaches, going through that experience of losing to the Browns, and I'm sure that it was a coronation there, at First Energy Stadium, them getting into the playoffs for the first time since 2002, that, that would honk enough people off and, leave a bitter taste in the mouths enough that kind of put a little bit of extra edge maybe to the week of preparation. And I think that, the Browns coming to Heinz Field, when you looked at the playoff field, all of the possibilities, who you would like to play, not that the Browns are the worst team, but because of the situation that I just described, having just defeated the Steelers and leaving that sour taste in their mouths, and then having to come back, 1 week later, I thought that was the most advantageous thing. The other thing I wanted to see for sure was the Titans somehow end up matched up against the Ravens, so those two teams can beat the snot out of each other. And, hopefully the Ravens lose just because I hate the Ravens.
All right, well, Labs is very motivational here on Monday for us. Wolf, the last time the Browns were in the playoffs, they faced the Steelers at Heinz Field. Did not go well for them, so Steelers fans can feel good about that. But what do you make of this matchup, being that they did just play them?
Well, they just played them, and to me, I love it, because I think it's harder to beat a team 2 times in a row than it is 3 times. By the time you get to 3 times, the 3rd time, everyone starts thinking, man, we're jinxed, or they got our number, or they know something about us that we don't know about ourselves. So winning 2 times in a row is harder. And I just love the matchup, because I think the Steelers, with their JV team, gave the Browns, with their varsity team, as Mike Tomlin puts it, all they could hope for and possibly more. We're just a converted 2-pointer from being able to take those guys into overtime. I don't know if you could hear the tremendous gagging sound coming from Cleveland all the way here in Pittsburgh in the 4th quarter when Mason and the Steelers mounted that comeback, but it was getting pretty loud and pretty prominent. And I had a feeling that had that game gone erstwhile, I don't know about if Cleveland would still be sitting on the shores of Lake Erie anymore.
Yeah, Arthur, I agree with Wolf. You could feel that the Browns were starting to get nervous, and at halftime, Coach Tomlin said, we are going to continue to keep applying the pressure so that they know that we are here, and that is exactly what the Steelers did in that second half. But in terms of air-mailing players like Ben Roethlisberger, Marquise Pouncey, Cam Hayward, TJ Watt to the postseason, the Browns did not see them yesterday. How does that go into planning for this game on Sunday?
Man, that's a huge element of it. We talked about, the JV narrative, and even what Lab said going into the game in terms of making the Browns work, making the Browns have to give every ounce that they had to get that game. And ultimately, that's what it took. It took, Baker scrambling at the end to get that first down for them to even make it out that stadium. Now it's different when you're talking about 7 at quarterback. It's different when you're talking about, these other guys in terms of TJ Watt and Cam Hayward. They thought they had a problem with Alex Highsmith and J. Rowan Elliott. Just imagine when Cam and TJ are out there. So from a preparation standpoint, the Steelers have to be extremely confident about that. And when you just think about the historical element of Ben versus the Cleveland Browns, he's dominated that series as well. So when you talk about the perfect storm for the Steelers, man, you're getting added pieces, which is going to boost your productivity along with already having the mental advantage. And let's be real. When you go from not making the playoffs for 18 years, it is safe to assume that you will be a little bit, having a little of that celebration hangover, because that was a big deal for not only the Browns, but for everybody in Cleveland yesterday. So they're going to still be lingering. They're still going to be, patting themselves on the back, while in Pittsburgh, it's a different mentality. It's a bitter taste because you lost, number one. But number two, we understand what playoff football is like. We understand the focus that goes into that. In Cleveland, nobody on that roster is going to know to that extent right now. And they're going to get a good taste of it come Sunday night.
All right, I'm getting excited. I can't wait. All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break here on the Extra Point. When we return, we're going to talk about Mason Rudolph and his performance as the Steelers' starting quarterback yesterday in Cleveland. We'll be right back.
We made enough plays to put ourselves in the game there at the end, being down, a couple scores. I think it really came down to those 4-point plays, those 4-point swings, and lack of touchdowns in the first half on those drives. We only got field goals from. Now, Matt did a great job putting those through the uprights for us, but we got to come away with 7 there instead of 3.
Mason Rudolph following the Steelers' loss in Cleveland in Week 17 yesterday. Everybody, welcome back to the Extra Point presented by Microsoft Surface. We talked about the playoffs and the rematch again with the Browns in the wild card round on Sunday night. But I do want to go back yesterday, guys, to Mason Rudolph's performance. He knew from the very onset of the week he was going to be the Steelers' starter at quarterback, a chance to redeem himself from last year, and just somebody who hasn't got a ton of reps this year due to the lack of offseason training, no preseason. So, Labs, how do you feel that Mason Rudolph acquitted himself against the Browns?
I thought he did well. I mean, in my mind, going into this game, it wasn't a do or die situation for Mason Rudolph in terms of his future with the Pittsburgh Steelers. However, it was going to be a very important opportunity for him. Mason Rudolph's rookie contract expires after the 2021 season. And the fact of life in the NFL is a lot of these kinds of decisions are made based on financial issues. And so Mason Rudolph, currently for next year will only count like $1.2 million on the salary cap, which is a nice number. However, if the team did not believe in him being capable of continuing to fill the role of backup, then maybe they start looking in another direction to be prepared for when his contract expires, because you're not going to give a guy that you don't believe in for the role that you have him earmarked for a lot of money, which is what would have had to happen once his rookie contract expired. So it was a significant milepost in Mason Rudolph's Steelers career, and I thought he did really well. He passed for over 300 yards with a couple of touchdowns, kind of engineered that comeback. And here was another thing that impressed me. There were 5 pass plays for the Steelers offense yesterday, all of 25-plus yards, and they were all Mason Rudolph throws. And so one of the things that we had been talking about on previous shows, the Steelers' offense's inability or reluctance to go down the field He didn't have that problem or reluctance yesterday. And, you know, the one mistake he made, the interception, Gene Steratore, the CBS rules analyst, said that it was a hit to the head, it was a penalty, and it should have been called. Now, that doesn't necessarily absolve Mason Rudolph of what I thought was a questionable decision, but if the penalty is called like it should have been, it gets him off the hook. And then
sorry, go ahead, Labs.
No, and then his performance looks even better.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. Wolf, I was going to carry on from his point about the interception. I know during the radio broadcast yesterday, you had said you felt like some of that was on Benny Snell as well.
No question about it, Missy. You're spot on. And Labs, that was a great analysis of Mason. He had a great day. But here's the thing about Benny. Benny can run the ball and love everything about him there, and he can catch the ball. But you also have to learn to step up. And when you have a blitz situation, you got to hit that guy. You can't. As a back, you can't sit there and try to absorb and then go backwards with it. You've got to try to stone that blitzer, because oftentimes you're within an arm's length or so of the quarterback and throwing that ball. And Benny just did not stone the linebacker enough to create enough separation that Mason could step into the throw, follow through, and all the other things. And then he gets hit by two-hand hit to the head afterwards. So it was problematic. But yeah, I got to put Benny having a hand in that situation. Mason alleviated him of the problem by saying, I still have to make a better throw or just throw it away. But certainly Benny knows better.
Okay, Arthur, I'm also curious if you have anything additional to add in terms of Mason's performance, but also maybe the confidence it helped for a Deontay Johnson, a Chase Claypool, who were able to get some of those longer passes and also get some extra work as they get ready for their first run in the playoffs.
Yeah, without a doubt, that's something that I was very excited about, because I understand when you talk about players, young players like Deontay and Claypool, confidence is king. We've seen scenarios when they have elite confidence, they are elite players. Then we've seen the opposite of that, where they struggle a little bit with their confidence and it's really put a damper on their productivity. But yesterday, man, you saw both of those guys making those deep plays, you know, in terms of what I think Deontay had one 40-yard catch, and then obviously Claypool had multiple 40-yard catches. But as a whole, I thought it was really good to see those guys get some of that back under their belt. But going back to Mason, I mean, it looked like a completely different offense in terms of how they were stretching the field and connecting on these passes, not just throwing it just to throw it. To me, I was impressed by that. But the thing that really impressed me the most was how he responded to the negativity. That turnover, I mean, let's be real. The game was teetering on getting out of hand, you know, once he threw that interception and the Browns went and were able to get points on that drive. But from then on, you saw him take command of the offense. I thought it was a great job by Randy Fichtner initially after the interception, calling a couple of run plays to get his legs back under him. But after that, I mean, he was attacking, going downfield. And from there, man, that was beautiful, because anyone can do well when everything is going well. But the ones that can find a way to right the ship when things are going wrong, when you're in the face of adversity, they can find a way to overcome it. That, to me, is more impressive.
Okay, guys, well, that is going to do it for this edition of the Extra Point presented by Microsoft Surface. For Labs, Wolf, and Moats, thanks so much for joining us today. Steelers and Browns wild card weekend here at Heinz Field. We'll be talking about it and previewing it all week, so make sure you join us. Have a great night, everybody.
What's up, Steeler Nation? It's your boy Juju Smith-Schuster here. Thanks for watching the video. Make sure you like and comment below, and don't forget to subscribe to the Steelers official YouTube channel. Thanks again. Here we go, Steelers.